Wow, we made it to Planet Spiral Review. That was quite a journey. Let's explore. So, when we're planning for Spiral Review, here are some questions you may want to ask yourself. What standards will I focus on in this limited time span? What questions will I use to support this review, and where can I find them? When and how will I focus on these standards when I still have new content to teach? I know that goes through our mind a lot. And how can I easily collect student data? Let's see. So, what do we have here? This is a calendar that shows the last week of March and the month of April. Within each day, you'll see focus standard. That means I suggested what standard you should focus on for the remainder of March and April. Now, how did I determine which standards to focus on? Let's take a look. What you see here is a screenshot taken from the Educator's Guide. And within this screenshot, you'll notice that all of the standards are broken up into three categories: major clusters, which are listed in green, supporting clusters in blue, and additional clusters in yellow. When creating the calendar, I decided to use the standards that fell within the green section. So as you can see, we have ratios and proportional reasoning, we have number sense, and then we're ending it off with expressions and equations right here at the bottom. What you will also see in each day on the calendar is the standard followed by a number. And then you'll also see 2019 exam followed by a number. Let me explain the first part. Where you see just the standard followed by a number, I'm referencing the snapshots that I created, which consist of past New York State exam questions from 2018 and below to the year Common Core began. Let's take a look at that. You will see math sixth grade snapshots. And within that, you have 4 folders, each folder which represents each of the domains for sixth grade. I'm going to click on ratios and proportional relationships just to bring something to your attention. You'll notice there's quite a few snapshots here, but let's look at the titles. So for this first one, it says 6RP1. For the second one, it says 6RP2, parentheses 1, and then 6RP2, parentheses 2. All that means is that there's 2 different snapshots representing 6RP2. And as you move forward, you would see 6RP3A1. And then when you come over here, you would see 6RP3A2. So again, all that means is that there are 2 snapshots containing questions from the state that represents 6RP3A. This is important, and let's see why. Let's take a look at March 24th and March 25th. Snapshot RP21. That means when you go to the snapshots, open up 6RP21 and you'll use question number 1. Let's go to the 25th of March. You'll see the snapshot suggested would be 6RP2, question number 1. Now that I've spoken about the snapshots, let me briefly explain why did I write 2019 exam. That's because the snapshots do not contain the questions from 2019. However, I thought it would be great if you can use the questions from 2019 as your spiral review. You can easily find that by going online and doing a search for the 2019 released questions, and I referenced the question number that can be used. The last thing I want to bring to your attention are the last 2 weeks of April. You'll notice I put a focus standard there, but I did not suggest any snapshots to use, nor did I suggest any 2019 exam questions to use. I did this on purpose. Why? To create collaboration. It would be great if you work with your math team to go through these snapshots and the 2019 exam and determine what questions will I use for my spiral review. I know some of you may be wondering, will I have access to the snapshots? Will I have access to this calendar? Absolutely. And you'll hear me say this more than once as we continue to navigate space. As soon as you complete the survey for this PL, you will gain access to a folder which contain all of the resources shared throughout this PL. Let's move forward. Attention participants, please keep in mind that the ELA New York State exam is scheduled to be administered from Monday, April 19th, 2021 through Thursday, April 29th, 2021. As a result, you may have to be flexible on how you engage in the spiral review. For example, if lessons are taught asynchronously, you can still use the Google form and upload videos of your modeling. 7th grade teachers, you thought I forgot about you. I didn't. This is the 7th grade spiral review plan. It is very similar to the 6th grade spiral review plan. Same concept. Each day, there is a focus standard, and you will see that I'm suggesting what snapshot should be used and what question, as well as what question to use from the 2019 exam. As I've said before, for the last 2 weeks, I put in the standards that you should focus on, but I would love for you to work as a team to figure out what questions you will lift from the snapshots or the 2019 exam. And again, once you complete this survey, you will have access to all of these resources. Let's move forward. 8th grade. Were you sitting there wondering, I hope she did it for 8th grade as well? Yes, I did. Here's your 8th grade spiral review plan. Exactly the same. You have your focus standard. You also have the questions that I'm suggesting that you use from the snapshots and the 2019 exam. And the last 2 weeks only contains the focus standard. Again, work with your team to figure out what questions you would like to use or lift from the snapshots or the 2019 exam. And of course, you will have access to all of these resources once you complete the survey. Okay, let's move forward because I know you may be thinking, when can I actually do this? And before I forget, the standards that start off in March for each of the grades are actually the standards students were tested on for the district assessment. So please review that data as you are preparing for the spiral review so that you will have a sense of where your students are and what their needs will be. So when and how can you engage in spiral review? Well, you can do that in lieu of the do now, fluency activity, or the opening exercise of a lesson using a Google form, which will collect data faster, Jamboard, where you can actually see students' work and their thinking, or other platforms. We'll get back to those 2 platforms in a second. Here's how you would do this. You would allocate time for students to submit their answers. Not too much time, not too little time. And then you will immediately review after. Now, let's go check out the Google form. What you will see here is a Google form that was created that I can use for my spiral review. Here's one thing I need you to notice to make it very simple. Make sure you include a section where students have to write their name and make it required. So that way, when you receive the data, you will see the student's name as well. And then Put the question that you are going to use within the Google form. You can take a screenshot of the question and input it here. Now, let's talk about timing. You want to make sure you allocate enough time, but not too much time that's going to take away from your current lesson. Let's say about 10 minutes. Allow your students to open this Google form and work on the question for about 3 minutes and submit their answers. Once the 3 minutes is up, you want to make sure that you close the form before reviewing the question because you want authentic answers. Here's how you do that. You will click on responses. Here, you will see accepting responses. It's purple. That means it's on and it's open. Simply click that button and it says not accepting responses. That means the Google form is closed. At this point in time, spend the next 6 to 7 minutes reviewing the question. Are any of you wondering how can I easily share the Google form with students so that it doesn't take away from the time that we have? Absolutely. It's very simple. What you will want to do is click on send. Then you will want to click on this link icon, shorten the URL so it's not too long, and then click on copy. Once you do that, just go back to your platform that you're using and paste this shortened URL in the chat, and students will gain immediate access to the Google form to answer the questions. Let's go back. Now that we're back, let's check out the Jamboard and see what it offers. So what you see here is me working on Jamboard. I wanted to show you this so that you can see how easy it will be for students to navigate this platform. What Jamboard does give us that Google form doesn't give us is the opportunity to actually see students' work. And when students are done, you'll have a finished product that you can further analyze to see where their thinking was and how they processed the problem. What I want you to keep in mind, however, is that collecting this data will not be as fast as when using the Google form. Let's head back. Another way you can engage in Spiral Review is to embed a question into the exit ticket using a Google form, Jamboard, or other platforms. What you first want to do is allocate time for students to submit their answers. If there is time left to review the exit ticket during class, please do so. However, being that the exit ticket is given at the end of class, there may not be enough time. This is when you can create a video for your students as you've seen as you navigated through the obstacles. And these are just a couple of ways you can engage in Spiral Review. It has been great exploring Planet Spiral Review with you. I'll catch you later on Planet Eureka and New York State Questions.